Well, it's Sunday after our road trip. One of the things I got to do today, since we got some sun, is I'm going to clean up the truck. Got a lot of road grime on it yesterday from cruising around all over southern Ohio and northern Kentucky. I also hose down and spray some of the dust off of the UB, and then I'm going to make some adjustments on it for just after we put the manifold on. I think it just needs some carb adjustments or throttle linkage, so I'm gonna work on that, and then I'm gonna work on the A4T some today. So first things first, get the big hauler cleaned back up after she's covered in road grime. All right, got the UB kind of washed up there. Next thing I need to do is I need to get this gantry around the front of the A4T. In order to do that, I need to move the jet out of the way. And yes, Joe Pro, I know there's no nose piece on it. Thank you for reminding me every time I show that tractor. Move the quad. I'm going to need to move the power washer out from in front of it. Move a bunch of things around, I think, in order to get my gantry over there. But I want to have it over there so I can get the radiator and all that off. So I think that's my next plan here. Gets things moved out. It's turned into a beautiful day. It's sunny. It's in the 60s. This is like perfection for this time of the year. And tomorrow is supposed to be in the 70s. So it's crazy. It's the beginning of March. All right, let's move some stuff. Took the battery tender off. Might need a little choke. She should be going. Half choke. Well, this is not normal. Hooked around the gonna start dragging stuff with me. All right, that wasn't so bad. Once I got the jet and the quad out of the way, moved the hot water pressure washer out of there from in front, I was able to swing the gantry kind of back in here. So the beauty of it is the beam's right over where I need it to be. I can lift it and then just slide it along the rail out here and set it down. So I got a little bit of a working area here. So all that's good. Now I'm going to sweep out some of the filth in here. I am going to get underneath and do a lot of scraping of the old grease, so I'm going to make another big mess under this thing, but I don't necessarily have to do that today. I'm gonna sweep this out. I need to find a place for this original seat off of the new 302 diesel, new to me, in the top link. I think I know where I can put those, but I got a mess over here I need to clean up. The fuel tank for this did go to the machine shop today. Oliver Phil took it over to his buddy, and Spencer, who's got a shop. I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna skin along basically a whole new piece underneath the tank over top of what's there. What's there is pretty thin. It looks like it's gonna blow out in multiple places. So I think he's gonna skin a whole new piece on, weld around all the edges, weld around the ports, get it. So I basically have a new bottom in the tank. So we talked about that this morning. That certainly makes sense to me. And yeah, so making progress on that, and Oliver Phil is going to be ordering all of the correct hydraulic hose sizes and all for all the hoses he's got to make ×2. And one thing we got to do here soon is pull that window out and then bring that 2150 window out with the frame, see how it's going to fit in there, and then fabricate some hinges for it. And then at some point here, I'm going to need to talk to a window shop about coming out and replacing plexiglass with glass and putting new seals in all these windows and wiring the lights. And yeah, there's a long list still to do on this, but we're making progress. And but today I'm going to get set up so that I can keep, on the weeknights, I can pick away at this thing when I get home from the job that I wish I could retire from some days, most days, okay, every day. But that's where we're at. I'm gonna sweep up, and then at some point I'm gonna work on the UB. I just needed to do this stuff this first, but I'm gonna clean up my floor here. All right, it's a nice day. I can't resist. We're gonna go for a ride on the 114. I got done sweeping. I looked at this thing and I'm like, I need to move it. So why not start it up and take it for a drive, because I haven't done that yet. Adjust this hydrostat some because it doesn't want to, I can't find neutral so well. good, and she drives around good. A little bit of creep. Still, I'm waiting on the decal from R&M for the headlight bucket. It should be coming this week. Put that decal on, get the headlights hooked up. A couple of other really small things, and this thing will be done. That was fun. Just a nice little couple-minute break before I continue working on stuff, but figure y'all would like to see her run around. It'll look good when it's got the headlights back in it, but all in all, pretty happy. It's pretty dusty right now, but I think she turned out pretty good. I need to put the caps on the front wheels. It's one of the things I could do is adjust that just a little, but yeah, there she is. So, all right, back to work. I think what I'll do next is pull the UB in the shop and start messing with the carb just a little bit. It's not that it's bad, it just could be better. My fuel shutoff's over here. I keep forgetting on this one it's slightly different. I don't know where the heck this came from. I'm fairly certain that was not on there when I took this down to my uncle's, so I'm gonna guess that was a gift that somebody put on there as a joke, because everybody knows that I wouldn't have that on one of my tractors, but it's on one of my tractors. So she starts good. Take her down the driveway. Probably should have checked how much gas is in this, because I know he had drained it. I don't know how much he put back in it. Cub. Miss power steering sometimes. Maybe we can have a race. He's pulling his roller though, so probably not. Everybody's got a little bit of spring fever. It's warm today. It's nice to not be in Carhartts and not have to have a hat on. unless you bump it. So I need to play with that and see if I can get a better response out of the throttle. Just sitting here playing with it, watching my linkage. Responds well though. I mean, you bump it, it responds okay. Just looking at all my linkages here. The motor just sounds real good. Not the right muffler for it, and it's a Stanley, but it's got a little nice sound to it. I'm just sitting here thinking, because obviously the problem is going through the governor. Because when I mess with the carb, everything's the way that it should be. But I don't have excessive slop in my linkages. Might not be as bad as what I think it is, but I'm gonna play around with this a little bit more and see what I can come up with, but she does purr nicely. I almost hate to sell it, but every once in a while you got to send something down the road. But this thing has got everything. It's got the toolbox, has the cover on it still. Grandpa's doesn't have that. It's got of course the Live that froze up like a lot of them happen. Grandpa's doesn't have this for the PTO. He doesn't have that lever there for the belt. He does have the for that, but what else is missing on Grandpa's is this lever down. You could lock your brakes from right here. Instead, I got to flip that up on Grandpa's because that got lost along the way. This does have the lift on it. I went through the brakes when it was here before. Put the fuel shut off on it with a inline fuel filter, but I still left the sediment bolt. So, but the manifold that was on it was in bad shape, so I put actually Uncle Dennis put the new manifold on it, but yeah, all in all, pretty good. Other than that green thing up on the steering wheel, I'm gonna have to talk to him about how that happened. All right, I'm gonna mess with this here for a couple minutes and see what I can come up with. All right, so getting back to the A4T. I'm going to try to get the radiator off, which means I got to unhook everything from the bottom of the tank here. Already loosened up all these hose clamps, but I'm sure I'm going to probably end up having to cut some of those lines in order to get them off. Probably got a little bit of a glare there. And then I'm going to take lines off the top and kind of get things out of the way. Then I'm going to have to loosen that hose clamp, and then take off the top radiator hose, and I'm going to be pretty close. And then I got to take off all the bolts to that hold the radiator and the cooler here in. So I've not done this. I'm just kind of, as I'm talking, I'm looking at like what I need to do here. So I'm gonna pick away at this, and I'll bring you guys back when I have a little bit better plan, and I'll explain what I'm doing to get all this off. I've not taken one of these off before, although I know it'll lift off as one complete unit. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so this hose popped right off. These, not so much. So this is the supply down to the power steering pump, and this goes back and goes to the hydraulic pump. So those two lines I had to cut all the way to get those off because they are old and hard as a rock. And I've loosened my lower clamp on the radiator, and it's starting to leak, but I just wanted to get that loosened. I got to go up top and take off where that line goes in, and then I also need to get the top radiator hose off. All right, so up top here I've got this, which goes in, I think this is going to be a return. So I need to get these clamps off. One of the things on those hoses I had to cut off, I'm like trying to cut and the knife wasn't going. They had double clamped it. I didn't realize it because the paint. And I got to get this off too. It looks like it's a kind of a check valve or a filter or something that they had going to the back there. And then I got to crawl over and I got to loosen that where the radiator hose goes into the radiator. So I'm going to work on these right now. So I'm messing with this and I'm like, why are there so many clamps here? I realize at some place they replaced this hose. That hose is kind of soft. This is the hose that goes back. These are both rubber hoses, but I'm going to guess they've somehow spliced it right here. So that would explain this whole setup right here. All right, got this hose off. I had to cut it. I got this other thing off, but it's in sad shape, so I can't imagine it was doing much anyway. So next thing I got to do is I got to get that hose cut because this is hard as a rock. So I got to get that off, and I got to get my I got the clamp loosened on the top radiator hose, but I got to kind of push that back. So basically the top of the tank's almost done, bottom tank's almost done. Then I can, once I get that hose taken care of over here, then I can start taking loose the bottom of all the mounting hardware down here. All right, got the top radiator hose off, was able to get the hose going from here to the top of the tank completely off. Got the metal line that went underneath here to the suction port here, comes back to the pump off. That was a little bit of a dilemma. I got this line pulled out. This line fished down and went to the the port where you can drain that tank. And so now I think I'm pretty well, other than this bottom radiator hose, which the clamp is loose and it is dripping. I think we're pretty well loose. There's the metal line that ran behind that red piece there. And of course, they had a rubber boot around it to make sure that it didn't wear a hole in it. I don't know what we would do without all that. So it's where I am. I need to label what I've taken off so I know where it goes and what I need to get. And then I need to assess how to unbolt this big whole front section from the bottom and how to strap it for the gantry to pick it up. So that's what's next. All right, so I just did some digging around on here with a screwdriver to knock dirt out of the way. There's a bolt here, and there's one at the other end under here. Same thing on this side, but since the radiator hose is there, it mounts there. There's a little bracket. There's another bolt here for this cross brace. And then I'm gonna have to take off, I believe, I don't know if I should take it off either here or where it mounts to the plate. I'm gonna have to just determine that. So my next thing is I'm gonna get a strap around on this to lift it off, and then let's see, yeah, then loosen everything up and see if I can get it off. Woke up this morning with a slight sore throat, and I am starting to drag a little bit, which is not fun. Anyway, one other correction for the video yesterday in the 1969 U302 diesel. I said there were 15 made in 69, and Moline Dan corrected me this morning, said 13. So whether it be 13 or 15, it's a pretty rare tractor. So mine was, I think, the 3rd or 4th built. Dan has one that's like the 10th built. My buddy Andy Sellers has one, and I don't know where his serial number's at. So those are 3 that I know of. So anyway, that's what we got. I'm gonna try to get this thing off today, and that'll at least be something I have accomplished, other than moving a bunch of stuff around out there and messing with the UB a little bit. All right, I got everything loose on this metal pipe that comes down. There is this clamp on it, and that clamp goes to this piece, and then the way that it sits in there, you can't get the 3/4 inch bolt out without taking off that clamp first, so I had to fight that. Got everything else loose, so we're loose right now. I ended up taking off these bolts on the cooler. Hopefully that works. I have a little bit of tension on the gantry. So the only thing I got that's really holding us, I think, is this pipe right there. So I'm gonna set you guys up, I don't know where yet, so that you can hopefully watch this come apart. Yeah, easier said than done. Man, that's not good either. I'm gonna shut it off, I'm gonna get you set up, then I'll bring it back. Hopefully that's a little bit better. And so we're just a little bit loose. All right. Now we should be a lot loose, except back there. This pipe coming up through might be a problem. I might have to take this pipe off. See if there's anything else I'm binding up on. The other side seems to be free. Definitely have some tension on the cooler. I don't know if I can. Yeah, there's still some antifreeze in it. Good thing that pan down there. Hopefully the pan's big enough. So We're losing some antifreeze on the floor. So this is definitely a balance because those, I should probably have taken the oil cooler brackets off the base there. It just looked like a real pain. And I'm Yep. Still a bunch of antifreeze in there. So I'm gonna let that kind of drip out. And then I gotta figure out if I can get that hose off there before I continue. And I'm also gotta watch the fan as I bring this thing out. I think I gotta get this pipe out of the way, which means I got to undo it there where it meets that big hose. There's just no easy way to do this. This is what I'm seeing right now, but I'm gonna make it work one way or the other. We're getting this thing off here. All right, so I basically got it loose. I just dropped that hose down. Here it is down here. I had to get out my pipe wrenches because I didn't have anything that big. It's still draining out. That's a big, you can see what a big fitting that is. So anyway, now I just got to finagle this thing off of here. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to get you guys set back up, and we're going to play with this and see what we can come up with. I should probably move my incredible large amount of tools off out of the way. So we're sitting on top of the radiator, which is not good. And I'm out. I can't go up any higher. I'm gonna have to shut you off. I gotta go back up and readjust the gantry so I can go high enough to get this thing off. All right, I didn't have to reset the gantry. I just had to slide it forward just a little, which got me off of the bottom of the radiator. So I'm pretty much free at this point. So if I can't go any higher, so if this thing drops, I'm gonna be hurt. Oh. All right. And a very old rubber hose there. So I'm free. This was loose and I have to fix that. It's supposed to be maybe spot welded. I don't know. That's probably really loud for you guys. So this is gonna take a while to winch down, but I think you get the idea. I've got it free. When I get it down to the floor, I will bring it up again. Here you can see this hose. You can see how, I mean, it's just old. It goes up under there. And yeah, this is the back side, but I'm gonna bring you guys back in a minute here when I get the radiator down on the floor, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I got it down lower to the floor. I was able to move it over, slide it over. It's the beauty of the gantry is I can move it around. But it's sitting here. I think the battery's gonna go dead on this GoPro any second now. But she's there, she's good. And this is what we've got up top. I'm gonna have to clean all this up, take off these brackets. Probably while I'm here, I'm gonna need to do belts on there, might as well, because I'm down this far. And then start working on replacing hoses. So this is kind of where the other one's sitting right now. There's no motor in it and there's no radiator on it. So I'm kind of familiar with how this looks right now, but that's where we are. I think that's going to be it for this video. It's probably a little bit shorter one, but with the video yesterday of getting that 302 and the awesome day we had down with Larry down in Georgetown, Ohio, it was pretty good day. But appreciate everybody watching, liking, and subscribing, and more to come on this project. Obviously, we're not done, but I'm motivated. I'm glad I left that 302 down there, because if it were here, I'd be wanting to work on it all day long today. And I need to finish this one, and then try to work on getting the motor in the other A4T before I mess with that 302. So it'll come up here, but it's good. It's in good hands down at my uncle's, just in a barn, until I can get it up here. So see you at the next video, and yeah, we're having fun. I'm gonna go in and take some more vitamin C. Hopefully I'm gonna feel better.